The Yummy Alphabet Book by Jerry Pallotta, illustrated by Leslie Evans. Herbs, spices, and other natural flavors. The Yummy Alphabet Book. And there's some garlic. A is for anise. Anise is a spice that comes from a seed and tastes like licorice. What is a spice? A spice is the section of a plant that has the flavor. The spice flavor can be from the bark, the stem, the flower, the bean, the nut, the oil, the sap, the seed, the leaf, or the root of the plant. Grandma likes anise. It tastes like licorice. Black licorice. Red licorice technically isn't licorice. It's just a candy made in the same style. B is for basil. Basil is an herb. If you go to a market, walk near the fresh basil and take a good whiff. It smells wonderful. What is an herb? An herb is an edible green leaf that is used to season food. C. C is for cinnamon. Cinnamon comes from the bark of a tree. At one time, cinnamon was more valuable than gold. The demand for spices such as cinnamon encouraged explorers to search for a shorter route to India. Christopher Columbus thought he was in India when he came to the Caribbean. That's why he called the natives there Indian. And that's why we call the Indians in the United States Indians until now that we call them Native Americans. D. D is for dill. Whenever you say the word dill, people immediately think of pickles. Dill peanut butter, dill ice cream, and dill milk do not sound right. Dill pickles sound perfect. E is for eucalyptus. When you had a cold, maybe someone rubbed your chest with eucalyptus salve or gave you a eucalyptus cough drop. Or maybe you took a bath that steamed up the room with the smell of eucalyptus. F. F is for fennel. Fennel is an herb and a spice. All parts of the plant are edible. You can eat the fresh or dried green leaves. You can use the seeds for baking. You can also eat the stalk and bulb like a piece of celery. G. G is for garlic. Garlic has a powerful flavor. If you eat a lot of garlic on Monday, someone might still smell it on your breath on Tuesday or even Wednesday. But don't worry, eating garlic is good for you. G is also for ginger. The ginger flavor comes from a root. It has a taste that is hard to describe. If you bite into raw ginger, it seems to bite back. Have you ever made a gingerbread house? H. H is for herb garden. If you want to grow an herb garden, you do not need much room. You can grow one in a window box, between the rungs of a ladder, or even in an old boat. Your herb garden might attract a hummingbird and a few butterflies. I. I is for Irish sea moss. The seaweed grows underwater on rocks. It is harvested, dried, and made into a powder called carrageenan. In food, it keeps ingredients mixed together. Otherwise, the flavors would sink to the bottom or float to the top. J. It's time for a coffee break. J is for Java. Java is another name for coffee. Java is also an island in Indonesia where coffee is grown. Think of all the vocabulary that includes the word coffee, such as coffee table, coffee cake, coffee pot, and coffee break. K is for cola. Cola nuts are the seeds from the cola tree that grows in the tropics of Africa. One of the most popular drinks in the world is a soda flavored with an extract made from cola nuts. Coca-Cola. L is for lavender. If we were going to eat or drink all the great tasting things in this book, it would be a good idea to wash our hands first. Lavender is a fragrance used in making soap. M. M is for mustard. People often associate tastes and smells with places they have been. The smell of mustard can bring back the memory of a home run with the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth. This spice can take you out to the ball game. M is also for maple. This flavor comes from the sap of certain maple trees. When it is tapped, the sap is very watery. After it is boiled, it thickens and becomes delicious maple syrup. N. N is for nutmeg. This spice comes from a hard nut that is grated into powder. Nutmeg's unique flavor can add that extra special zing to the desserts that already taste wonderful. If you do not like nutmeg, you must be nuts. O is for oregano. Oregano is often used to flavor tomato sauce. Tomato sauce is used on top of spaghetti and pizza. The person who wrote this book loves pizza. Do you? P. P is for pepper. Just thinking about this page, can make you, chew! Sneeze. It wouldn't be fair to mention pepper without mentioning salt. Salt is a flavor, but it does not come from a plant. Salt is a mineral. There is a huge salt lick about 40 minutes from Grandma's house. It was bought by Daniel Boone's family. It was called the Boone's Lick. It became a road from St. Charles to Boonesville and the Boone's Lick. Our road in Columbia called Broadway that goes just a mile south of Grandma's house called WW is part of the old Boone's Lick Road. You can still actually go from St. Charles along the old Boone's Lick Road. It twists and curves near the rivers. Travelers used to need that salt because the time it took them to walk from Booneville to St. Charles used up all their food, and they needed more salt to save more food for more part of their trip. R. R is for rosemary. This herb feeds and smells like pine needles. Rosemary has always been known as the herb of remembrance. It's nice to send a sprig of rosemary to a person you love. S is for spearmint. Spearmint and peppermint are aromatic herbs that are used to flavor candy, gum, and toothpaste. It's fun to eat candy, but don't forget to brush your teeth. T should be for tea, but it's not. T is for tarragon. Tarragon is an herb that is popular in gourmet kitchens. Great chefs around the world have been cooking with it for hundreds of years. U is for uva ursa. Uva ursa is also called bearberry. People do not usually eat uva ursa. Bears love to eat it, but bears cannot read this book. V. V is for vanilla. Vanilla is the most popular ice cream flavor in the world. The vanilla bean comes from the pod of an orchid flower. This flavor was discovered in the tropical rainforest. They make vanilla bean pods. W is for wasabi. The bright green stuff on your plate at a sushi restaurant is a hot spice that comes from the root of the wasabi plant. If you try wasabi, only take a teeny tiny taste. X. When the people of Central and South America discovered it, they thought it was a gift from the gods. Today, people worldwide still consider it to be the ultimate flavor. Z is for Zocoltl. Zocoltl is the Aztec word for chocolate. Y. Here's the T page. Y is for yapon. Many years ago, when people could not afford to buy tea, they brewed their own from the leaves of the yapon holly bush. Today, herbal teas are still very popular. Z. Z is for za'atar. Za'atar is an herb that grows wild in the Middle East. People have been putting it on their bread for thousands of years. There are zillions of different flavors in the world. What's your favorite? The Yummy Alphabet Book.